Hey everybody, Rob here for Southwest Florida Television. It's Sunday morning, about 10 a.m., just a little before 10 a.m. As promised, I was going to record a little standalone video of my Sunday morning conversation with Roy. Absolutely gorgeous out here. The sun's been peeking in and out between the clouds. Right now we're in a big clear spot. See lots of blue sky out there. The water is absolutely gorgeous. High humidity, still beautiful. Probably some rain showers later today. Scattered rain, typical Southwest Florida weather. Well, come over and see what Roy has up his sleeve. Good morning, sir.
Hey, you got all charged up, huh?
I got enough for a nice little conversation with you this morning.
Nothing like being charged up.
Nothing like being charged up in the morning, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Oh boy, so how you feeling today?
Wonderful, I'm supercharged.
Supercharged?
Yeah.
I bet you've never felt better.
You got that right. How'd you guess? Never better.
Never better, man. Oh boy, so you had a nice night last night, huh? Beautiful sunset.
Oh man, when the sun, and it got real big and it just dropped down right into the sea, and then the last spot raised green. Oh, really green.
Really?
Intense green, and a lot of it too. That was beautiful,
well,
just beautiful.
Maybe we'll see that again tonight. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I hope
it?
so.
Boy, I'd like to see that.
Because a lot of nights there've been a little layer of clouds. You don't see it go into the water, but last night into the sea.
Well, if the
that was great.
If the weather's nice, I'll be out here.
And then there was a black cloud, and was there thunder and lightning out of that cloud. It was spectacular.
Yeah, that lightning was, boy, the thunder was cracking.
Oh, and then we got the drenching you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, we did get
quite a
downpour. Quite a downpour after sunset last night. But here we are.
All part of the glory of it.
Absolutely. It is glorious. It was a nice morning out here.
Boy,
it's kind of quiet.
Beautiful.
This morning early, it was kind of quiet out here, kind of
and
still.
Hot too. Now a little breeze is coming up.
Yeah, the humidity this morning.
Thankfully, yeah. Oh boy.
The humidity was absolutely
murder.
Awful.
Yeah.
Man, I know I was sweating walking up the beach.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the rangers this morning. He was working up a sweat already this morning. Colin.
Yeah.
He was out checking some of the nests that hatched. They had one. They thought it hatched, and he went and he dug it up, and all the eggs were still in there. None of them had hatched.
Oh, be darned.
So he covered it back up and put the cage back on top of it.
That little turtle you saw, do they make nests too?
Yeah, that was a gopher. That was a gopher tortoise. That was a tortoise.
Huh.
And they live back up here in the brush.
They don't come out of the sea then, huh?
No. It's kind of unusual to see them out on the beach like that. I wish I had my batteries charged so I could have filmed it for everybody to see. That was a good size one too.
Yeah, he was big, yeah.
So anyway, you got a thought for the day, and it's gonna change our lives.
Well, you wanted something that was life changing or something.
There you go, yep.
And this is life threatening.
Life threatening, okay.
I guess that changes life.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
what can change life almost instantaneously from glorious and wonderful to horrible is accident and illness. Accident and illness. So I told you there wasn't a joyful word this morning, but you wanted something that was life-changing, and the amazing thing is, like accidents, you can be just delightful. Everything's going fine, and an accident within moments, seconds almost, your whole life can be devastated, even terminated.
Oh, terminated.
Yeah, terminated, or so you're so cracked up you spend months in the hospital and costs you $50,000 for medical fees, and I mean it changes your life just instantaneously.
Yep.
So, and there's a way to prevent these things, not prevent, but certainly circumvent and
decrease the odds.
Yeah, decrease the odds. So with accident, the most primary accidents we have is driving the car.
Yep.
and I think we've touched on this before, we also have accidents of in the home of falling down.
Yep.
And they can be serious too. You usually break something, which is unpleasant, but they aren't quite as life-threatening as in the automobile. And the automobile, the driving, primarily it's because of alcoholism. So you shouldn't drive if you've been having a snort. And furthermore, if your friend is driving and they've had a snort, you're very vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
So the best idea, although I'm sure
those guys came right up over.
It's difficult to do because it's, you know, friendship and comradeship and all that sort of thing. But you know, better off that you don't have a snort and you nudge your friend over and do the driving.
Well, there you
Because that's
go.
how a lot of people get cracked up. They're passengers, and the friend or relative was driving, and they're under the influence. And furthermore, you got to put on your seat belts. I've heard of more people who've been really devastated, and they didn't bother to put their seat belts on. So there's little things, you know, almost inconsequential, that you can do to prevent these accidents.
Well, there you go.
So accidents, you got to be cautious all the time, not to have a fall. And furthermore, there's other drivers that are lunatics. When you get to yeah, no kidding. When you get to a stoplight, just because you got the green light, doesn't mean that there isn't some moron hurtling across through the red light at a very high speed.
Yep.
This has happened quite a bit.
Oh, it happens all the time.
They're probably under the influence. So when you get to a stoplight, you look both ways and take it easy before you gun on through, even though you got the green.
There you go.
That's immaterial that you got the green. You still got cracked up by somebody.
Absolutely.
And stop signs, you got to be very cautious. To stop at stop signs, complete stop. I was driving along and enjoying myself, and stop signs. You know, I'd stop.
Uh-huh.
Well, I got a ticket. The squad car was lurking, and he
Really?
said I didn't come to a complete stop. And he was right. You know, you go blip almost, and on you go.
They call that a rolling stop.
Yeah, something like that. So I got a ticket so you got to actually stop the car.
You got to feel yourself move forward. That little lunge in your seat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a good set of seat belts. They don't make them quite as good as they could. They could be harnesses. That's a little more difficult to shuffle in a harness.
Well, the safety in cars, though, has come a long, long way.
The airbags, I don't have any experience with those, but they probably do.
They're incredible. Now they surround you. Now you're surrounded in the new cars. They have them on the sides all around
Is
you.
that right?
Yep, not just in the steering wheel. Now they come out from everywhere.
They don't injure you when they come out, do they?
Well, sometimes they do, but at least you don't die.
Yeah.
It's better than going through the windshield.
I think it's wonderful.
Yep.
So those are all good aspects.
They do occasionally go off by accident.
Now
That's
the
not
other
good.
thing is illness. And that's a little more difficult to prevent, but you can sure work at it. Your hands, unfortunately, are all full of germs all the time. There's germs all over the place. So you keep your hands away from your face and your mouth. You don't be biting on your fingernails and all that kind of Mickey Mouse. Anyway, it's kind of not proper at a party to be chewing on your fingernails. So you keep your hands away from your face, and you try not to scratch, which is difficult. And I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah, it's pretty hard not to scratch.
Yeah, it sure is. But you try not to, because you got germs in your fingernails, and when you scratch, you're sure getting it in your body. But and then you make use of the little medical things you got. You gargle with salt water or Listerine or something like that.
Salt water.
Yeah, salt water. That's what I use. So there's little things you can do, but basically it's a tough deal because the germs are lurking all over the place. But I think a good idea is to keep yourself really healthy, because your body is fortunately equipped to prevent these germs from well, they keep attacking, but prevent them from getting a foothold. So if you keep really healthy, I think this helps prevent infection. And the way to keep healthy, and we've touched on this a lot of times, is to have a good diet.
Yep.
And that's really important. So that's something you can do. A really good diet, and we don't have to go into that. We've gone into diets. But, and another thing to stay healthy is not to drink poison. Because poison is definitely a killer. And if you drink deadly poison, you're certainly deteriorating your body, which is supposed to be helping to prevent this infection. So the big thing about preventing infection is not to take poison. Furthermore, even if you don't get an infection, committing suicide is a form of death, which you know, and taking poison is a form of a suicide.
Is it?
So even if you're working at it over a period of 50 years, you're still gradually committing suicide.
So people that are drinking alcohol are committing suicide.
Well, alcohol is a deadly poison. A deadly poison.
What about smoking?
Well, that's another thing. That's a deadly poison too. So you're committing suicide when you smoke. So there's things you can do to stay healthy and not smoking or drinking and taking other drugs, which I'm sure there are a lot of them around, as deteriorates your health. And then get some exercise. You need your blood pumping around a little bit and that sort of thing.
What about, what's your thoughts about taking vitamins?
Oh, well, that's a great idea.
How many vitamins?
Well, the more the merrier. And you get onto a good company. Vitamins are tricky because there's so many of them, and they all have some different properties to them, and it's almost a lifetime study. So what you can do, because you're a layman, unless you want to spend your whole life studying it, is you get onto a good company. Mm-hmm. I use Swanson, who's certainly a good company, and when you call in, you ask for the I forget what title they have, but some guy that knows the properties of the vitamins and what they're supposed to do for you.
Uh-huh.
Not just the lady that takes your order. They're all of us very charming and capable, but you got to get somebody who is very knowledgeable, and they've got them in these big companies. Mm-hmm. So you get onto the knowledgeable person, and he goes over with you at great length, hopefully, on each vitamin, what the properties are, when you should take it, what you should take it with, and what's detrimental about it. I mean, it's a complete study of its own.
But so a good vitamin regimen.
Instead of using your own life to study all the vitamin books and facts and etc., medical reports, you use the expert at the vitamin company, and they'll give you the pitch on the vitamins.
So would that be a pharmacist, or would that just be a nutritionist?
I don't know what their properties are, but I've talked to the one at Swanson at some great length. Really? I must have spent an hour.
So what do you take?
Hour on the phone.
How many different vitamins do you take?
I don't know. I used to take a ton more. I've narrowed it down a bit.
I know you take a lot of vitamin C.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Vitamin C, that's a biggie. And unfortunately, from what I've heard, I'm not a medical man, but I understand that of all the mammals, which is a species we are part of, we're the only mammal that doesn't manufacture its own vitamin C. Huh. All the other mammals do. I don't know why we don't, and it's vital to our good health.
Uh-huh.
So what I determined was, according to my tonnage, apparently I had the figures, this a lot of years ago, and I don't know how I got the data, but how much an elephant manufactures, how much a lion, how much a giraffe, you know, and it all depends on their tonnage. Certainly an elephant is going to make more than a mouse. So according to my tonnage, I determined how much vitamin C I should take. And I forget the exact figures, but it's something like, I thought I must take 6,000 twice a day. It's around 12,000 IUs per day.
Wow, 12,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Milligrams or whatever.
I think I take a half a dozen of those babies twice a day, and they're each 1,000. Yeah, so it must be 12,000 I'm taking. It's probably not quite enough, but it does the job.
Not quite enough.
And it's supposed to help prevent all kinds of sicknesses and diseases. And it isn't detrimental to your health.
Oh no?
No, I don't think it even.
You can't overdose on vitamin C?
Well, I don't think so. Like I say, I'm not a technician on this whole thing, but it never bothered me any, and I don't even think it makes you piddle. Some people think they shouldn't take it at night because then they got to piddle all night.
Huh.
But it doesn't bother you a bit, and it's very inexpensive and very helpful to your health. And then get a hold of a good multi. A good multi has got everything in it, and take about 10 times as much as they recommend on a bottle. I mean, do a big job on multis. Instead of one a day, I think I take 4 or 5 or 6 a day on the multis.
Wow.
There's a lot in multis, then you don't have to have all kinds of bottles of stuff. So a real good multi, and then you can also augment it with other things of your choice. But talk to the vitamin expert and get the pitch on what you should be taking.
Holy smokes. Well, there's Roy's health advice. Life-changing.
And you know, it's really, the doctors should be, but it's such a big field, and the doctors, they can't, be involved in everything. They got an awful lot else to do.
Right.
So really, your doctor is just going to say, "Oh yes, take your vitamins," and that's it. And he takes a multi every day, and he's happy, which is great. But so you can't rely on your doctor, other than the fact he's going to tell you to do it. But it's a study all of its own. It's quite a science, and you should be privy to the whole thing.
Well, you're 94 years old, so there must be something behind it. Have you been doing that all your life?
Yeah, to a great extent. Not when I was young, but in midlife, I kind of heard about vitamins and got into it a little bit.
All right.
It's interesting.
So that's quite. You've been doing it for 50 years, probably at least, right?
Well, the thing about it is they don't hurt you a bit.
Nope.
They don't cost much, and they're easy to take. So what do you got to lose?
There you go.
You could take one vitamin and maybe you take a dozen. All of them are worthless, but one is vital. It's worth it. How do you know which is the vital one?
Good thought.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Well, good advice there, Roy. Stay healthy.
Well, that's a good part of it.
Stay healthy.
And your mental attitude's got a lot to do with it. Positive thinking.
Positive thinking.
Don't figure you're getting old, you're getting tired, and you don't want to get going and do anything because you're too old and tired. And you did that yesterday, I don't have to do it today. And that's all negative thoughts, and that's bad for your health and your thoughts.
Negative thoughts, negative.
Positive thinking.
Positive.
Everything's great, and I'm going for it. I'm going to take my walk, and I'm going to have a good time, and so your vitality and your health, being cheery and talking to your friends, and that's healthy.
Amen to
and
that.
That's good for you too. It's part of your health.
Yep. Having a good time, laughing. Yep. That's all good for your health. Absolutely.
And hobbies and all those wonderful things.
Yep. Reading books, good brain exercise.
Yeah, and if you're still working, which I think is wonderful, enjoy your work. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it should be enjoyable. And if it's not, you should think seriously about somehow changing around so you do some work that you enjoy.
Very, very good advice there. Very good advice.
Because work consumes a good part of your time and energy.
Big part of your life is work.
So why spend your whole life doing something that
you don't like?
That's miserable? What a waste of your time, good Lord, of your life.
Good point, Roy. Good point. All good points. All good points.
I don't know. It's just common sense.
It is. But
and I think how you get this common sense is the good Lord. He puts these thoughts in your mind.
Amen to
that.
that.
So you got to listen to what He's telling you. That's another big thing too. And I think we touched on that. And unfortunately, the heavens just don't open up with a big boom and crash and the big loud voice in perfect Oxford English saying, "Roy, this is the Lord. Here's what I want you to do, and do it right now." And don't give me any equivocation. I mean, that would be nice, and we'd know what the story was, assuming he spoke good enough English, and we wouldn't need an interpreter. 'Cause the interpreter could get it a little wrong. So, but
it's
what
not
he
like
does,
that.
what the good Lord does in lieu of that, he gives you intuitions. Intuitions. And so you got to heed your intuitions, because that's God talking to you. That's a big deal. When you get just a kind of a feeling, feeling, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, or oh, I got to slow down when I'm driving, or oh, I should, I got to do this, or I shouldn't do that. I got to ease off, or those are all intuitions. But it's easy to forget them and figure, the heck with it. But there's no to heck with it when the God is talking to you. You got to listen and appreciate it and do what He's telling you, and He's telling you through your intuitions.
Amen to that one. That's a big one.
It's a tricky deal, but how else is He talking to you?
Yep.
I mean, how do you get the thoughts?
Nope.
It's in your mind.
No, and if you do that, your life's going to be a lot better.
Oh yeah, because the good Lord, I mean, hopefully, there's no guarantee of these things, but there's so many miracles around, so you figure what's one more miracle, is that the good Lord not only created you, but He's watching over you, guiding and directing you.
Amen.
And if He's guiding, directing, boy, you can't go wrong. If you
can't.
heed His guidance.
Yep. You have to let Him into your life.
Because the devil and negative powers,
he's working just as hard.
They're lurking about, and they're attempting to guide and directing you to come down to hell with them. So there's all kinds of, pressures acting on your mind. So make the right choice.
Absolutely. It's like you say, a lot of it's common sense.
And it all boils down to making the right choices.
Yep. And enjoying the journey.
Oh yeah, well
enjoy the journey.
And it's a lot of fun trying to make the right choice. When you tumble in the sack at night, it's nice to think back and say, hey, I had a perfect day and I made the right choices and everything worked out just great. I mean, isn't that a good feeling?
Yep.
Instead of tumbling in the sack and say, oh, golly me, why did I do this, why did I do that? Wow. What an awful day. I mean,
I agree. Yep, I agree. Well, thank you, Roy. Thank you for your advice.
Well, I don't know.
It's always welcome.
Everybody's got, common sense.
Covered a lot of territory there in these 20 minutes.
Well, when you wanted something
From accidents to poison to religion, we hit all spectrums here this morning.
Well, it all ties in. That's the trouble. You get going on it, it's all tied together.
It's all part of life.
Yeah, all tied together.
They're all important. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's
a
pleasure.
Thank you. It's a delight chatting with you about it. And actually, when I disseminate these things, it comes back at me too, and I say, hey, Roy, you just told them you should do this and that. Well, shape up and do it.
Practice what you preach.
yeah. Practice what you preach is right.
Amen on
That's
that
a tough deal.
It's easy to preach.
Yeah. And forgiveness, talk about that. Yeah. It's easy to suggest it, but hard to do it.
Absolutely.
That all ties in too.
All right. Well, I got to get rolling here. I appreciate your time. It's always good seeing you.
Well, it's a delight for me.
And I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you out here tonight.
Clarifies my thoughts a little bit.
Well, there you go. You're going to have some fun with all our friends here in a little while when they get out of the water.
Yeah, I wish I was joining them.
I bet you do.
Yeah, a lot of these things are your own stupidity.
Yeah.
It's the whole Mickey Mouse that almost took me away and all that time. That was my own stupidity.
Well, live and learn, hopefully.
Yeah.
If we do something stupid, we got to pay attention to the lesson and learn from it.
Yeah.
And if you do it twice, well, okay. But if you do it 3 times,
most of what happens to you is because of your own stupidity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you think really hard about it, it's because you did something dumb or foolish.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully I'll see you out here for sunset tonight.
Hey, that'll be great, man.
All right.
Okay.
You have a wonderful day. Wonderful rest of your
Rob.
Sunday.
Great seeing you, man.
Yep. Tally ho.
Tally ho.
God bless. One more quick look at the water here. A lot of interesting thoughts there from Roy today. Lots of different things. Lots of different things. Quite a gamut there, from vitamins to the dangers of drinking alcohol, smoking, all the way to religion. And that was fun. And there's our friends, Scott and Tom, with their noodles. Hey guys,
beauties.
we can see your noodles.
Where your noodle is. What's going on?
Did you see that dolphin up there this morning?
Yep.
Did he come back to Wiggins Pass?
There was one up there. He was frolicking out by the pass.
Frolicking?
Frolicking, yes.
Well, I saw one
He was
early this
eating and
morning, but that's
frolicking.
it. Oh, here
all
comes the beach babes.
Oh,
All
yeah.
the beach babes.
Oh,
Gotta
yeah.
love it.
All coming in.
Yeah,
Delightful out there.
it is.
Gorgeous.
That water feels nice
Oh,
compared to out here. It's too muggy out here.
yeah. Already I feel like getting back in.
All right, guys.
God, you should take a dip. Yeah, you should go swimming.
Oh.
Doesn't feel muggy after a swim.
Roy said there's germs out there.
Oh, well, no wounds, no germs.
No wounds, no germs. There you go.
Let's hope.
Carpe diem.
What's that?
I don't know. Carpe diem and that live for today.
Yeah. Well, I am out of here. I'm going to bid everyone adieu. Thank you for watching, folks. Remember, when you see something you like here on my Southwest Florida television page, hit that share button. And do tell your friends. I hope you enjoy our time together. Maybe I'll see you tonight. If I don't see you tonight out here at sunset, I'll see you in the morning for our live feed for our morning beach walk. For Southwest Florida Television, I'm Robb. God bless.